Ladies and gentlemen, it's the best day of the year. I woke up with a big smile on my face because it was bright and sunny after a few days of gloom and rain. I think I may just be happier than some of the prospects that are actually going off the board tonight. It's draft day, ladies and gentlemen, but before I go on my little diatribe about the draft, there are some things that need to be addressed real quick. Aaron Hernandez, the NFL's former hitman, committed suicide in his jail cell, and tweets of emotional support and the revisiting of his story and all that BS were all over the news last week. Now there are rumors that he was gay and yada, yada, yada. Listen, I'm not going to revisit his murder trial because we covered it ad nauseum when it was going down. I'm not going to act like I feel bad about it because he was a scumbag, and him killing himself doesn't change that. What I am going to point out is that Aaron Hernandez was the best thing that happened to Rob Gronkowski. See, Rob was always the guy. He was more likable, scored more touchdowns. He's a bigger and stronger player than Aaron Hernandez was. But Hernandez wasn't no slouch either. He was faster, in my opinion, a better route runner. Not as polished as a blocker, but he could still hold his own, and he could have matured into a superstar with a full body of work. Both guys struggled with injuries. But the magnitude of Gronkowski's injuries may have spelled the end for him in New England if Hernandez wasn't playing the role of Nico Bellic from Grand Theft Auto 4. They both had some nicks and bruises and sprains and what have you, but none of Hernandez's injuries were debilitating. Gronk was the guy at tight end, no doubt. But Hernandez showed he was capable of carrying the load at tight end too. Hernandez, though he did miss a lot of games with injury as well, didn't come out of college needing back surgery. Gronk did. He didn't need multiple surgeries on his forearm because of infection. Gronk did. Hernandez never tore his ACL and MCL and was out for the season. Gronk was. Hernandez never needed surgery to repair a herniated disc in his back. Gronk did. Hernandez had little nicks and bruises that he probably could have overcame if he was still playing. He would have been more available. He never had to deal with gruesome injuries like Gronk had to. Because he didn't play as long, sure. But the cloudy injury situation didn't follow Hernandez into the NFL from college like Gronk did. It's gotten to a point now where Patriots expect Gronk to be injured and they adjust accordingly. You think if Hernandez wasn't out murdering people and actually had his head on straight, they wouldn't seriously consider moving on from Gronk? He was just as talented. I'm Milton Woolley, and you're now listening to The Pylon. Two of the best running backs of their generation finally found new homes. One of them a more natural fit than the other. I said my piece on Marshawn going to Oakland, and I am seriously happy for him. However, they're not Super Bowl contenders. Marshawn doesn't play defense. Adrian Peterson to New Orleans was very, very random. Do I like the fit? No. Not at all. But the guy wanted to keep playing, and the Saints were the only team that offered him something. He finally wised up and decided to stick onto a team before the draft essentially pushed him out of the league. However, what I would hope for, in Adrian Peterson's case, this will lead to a change in attitude for the Saints organization. No Reggie Bush. No Brandon Cooks. No more Jimmy Graham. No more finesse. You got two hammerheads at running back. You got a young stud at receiver in Michael Thomas. You brought in Ted Ginn, who Yeah, he's a deep threat, but he always plays with a chip on his shoulder. You're going to bring back Sheldon Rankins along that defensive line. He had 4 sacks in 9 games as a defensive tackle in his rookie year. I sense a shift in attitude for the New Orleans Saints. They're trying to be less finesse, more in your face. Now, me personally, I think it would really say something if they drafted Reuben Foster out of Alabama with their first-round pick. You need secondary help, yes, you do. But just bringing in guys like Adrian Peterson, you already got Mark Ingram. Ted Ginn plays with an attitude. You're getting a young defensive stud back. Bring in a nasty dog of a linebacker like Reuben Foster. That changes the entire dynamic in New Orleans. More attitude, more desire. In the game of football, things like that matter. They make a difference. Do I expect AP to run for 1,000 yards? Nah, not really. Not with Mark Ingram there. But when Ingram goes out to catch a breath, shake some of the stars out of his head, Adrian Peterson is coming at you with even more determination, even more attitude. There's no let up. Look at all the times we've doubted AP. And how has he responded to that doubt? You're now listening to The Pylon. Take out the beer, order the blazing hot wings, call over your bros, and ignore your girlfriends. The NFL draft is here. I thought about doing a video. It was focused on which is the more effective way of team building, free agency or the draft. So I dug up the last few Super Bowl winners, and I thought, hey, draft picks played a huge part here in this team's win. But then I was like, would so-and-so have won if they didn't have that free agency signing? So I settled. The draft is way more exciting than free agency, by far. It's like Donald Trump compared to Hillary. Hillary, we kind of knew what we were going to get if she was elected, and then you have Donald Trump where every day you wake up not knowing what to expect. I want Reuben Foster, Corey Davis, or Mike Williams. Am I going to think the Ravens are back to being Super Bowl contenders if we get either of the three? You bet. I'm going to be ecstatic because that's the bluster that the NFL draft provides its fans. Hope. Every fan hopes all of their team's draft choices will pan out and be starters for them within a year, and they know it's not likely, but hope consumes all of us. I thought Trent Richardson was going to be good. I thought Justin Blackmon was going to be good. I thought a lot of players were going to be good that ended up being busts. General managers think the same way, guys. Yeah, they have paid scouts and they watch hours upon hours of film of these guys, but in reality, their guess is just as good as ours. The draft is a crapshoot. So whether you get elated or deflated at your team's pick tonight, just remember, the draft is only part of the battle. You have to account for free agency. You have to account for injuries, not to just your team, but to your division rival's team. You have to consider who's playing in a contract year, who's disgruntled with their current contract, who's progressed, who's regressed in the league. Coaching changes, front office changes, all of that plays into it. The draft may be our favorite part of that process, but it's still just that, a part of the process, not the be-all end-all. With that being said, Ozzie Newsome, go get me Reuben Foster, or Corey Davis, or Mike Williams, one of them, I don't know. Get me something good. I'm Milton Woolley, and this has been another edition of The Pylon.